is good welfare still going on?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, I was late. I would like to speak to the council on the good welfare then. Mike Clifford, Black Plain Road, North Smithfield. Couldn't think of my house number for a minute there, but 489. I just became aware of something this afternoon. I want to bring it to the council's attention. We had a lengthy meeting on last Thursday night representing the budget committee. We spoke about the dire circumstances ahead as far as the budget going forward. I also cautioned that the school committee probably would be wise not to ratify a new contract until their budget was established. I get Secretary of State alerts from the Secretary of State's office on agendas when they're posted, and I did get an alert last Friday that there was a new agenda for the school committee meeting for tomorrow night. Unfortunately, I didn't really look at it carefully until this afternoon, but I did realize when I looked at it this afternoon that they have on their agenda for tomorrow evening action related to collective bargaining, North Smithfield Teachers Association, contract ratification, discussion, vote, or other action. First of all, I thought the opinion of the town solicitor was that those charter amendments went into effect immediately upon passage. I know the school department attorney has a different opinion, but regardless of whether it is or is not legal for them to ratify a new contract, clearly the intent of the voters was made known that they expect those contracts to be ratified by the town council. Whether they have a legal obligation or not, I think they have a moral obligation to honor the wishes of the people. And those charter proposals affecting contract ratification did not pass by a narrow margin. There was an overwhelming margin. Now, I don't know for sure that they're going to act on ratifying the contract, but I did look at other agendas that they posted in the recent past, this one from November, and they didn't have contract ratification. They simply stated action related to collective bargaining, North Smithfield Teacher Association, discussion, vote, or other action. On this one for tomorrow night, they specifically state contract ratification. Now, there's also item number 8 on this agenda, which is action related to collective bargaining, North Smithfield Association support staff personnel, and that does not say contract ratification. It simply says discussion, vote, or other action. I know this isn't on your agenda tonight, but if there's anything that you can do, if you can take some type of action or direct the administrator to take some type of action, I certainly hope at this point you have it on record with the school committee members that the stance of the town is that those amendments went into effect upon passage, and that regardless of the legal point, you certainly were hopeful that they would respect the wishes of the people, and whether it was a requirement or not, forward that contract proposal to the town council before they took any action on it. I think in other communities where there is a law that the council has to ratify the contracts, I think the action the school committee takes is not to ratify the contract, but to simply vote to forward it to the town council with a recommendation that the council ratify and approve the contract. But they themselves, I don't believe, take a vote to ratify the contract until after it comes back to them. But I'm particularly, in light of what we all discussed on Thursday night and what we've become aware of with the revenue stream, if these people do approve a contract tomorrow night and the budget increases that they get are limited, there's going to be an impact on students, and that's the shameful part. They should be waiting until they know what they have in their budget to see what they can afford without having an adverse impact on the programs that are offered to students. So again, perhaps that's not their intent. I mean, perhaps they don't have a contract that they're actually going to be voting to ratify, but by the appearance of what's on the contract, it certainly seems to suggest that. And I don't know if you have the authority, if that's what they're doing, if you could find out tomorrow, if the administrator could call and inquire if that is what their intent is. Is there a legal action that the town could take to prevent them from taking that action tomorrow? Is there an injunction you could get in court until the dispute over when those charter proposals become effective is resolved? Because you're going to be in a very, very precarious financial situation if they approve a contract that the community can't afford. I don't know what else to say. I was dumbfounded when I saw it, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't take the time on Friday to really scrutinize the agenda, that I just did it this afternoon, because if I had, I would have alerted you earlier. And I certainly hope you all share the opinion that regardless of whether it's a legal requirement, I hope that you people support the idea that it is the will of the people, and they should be respectful of the will of the people. Even if you individually express that opinion, I see Paulette nodding her head yes, and I think, you know, maybe they need to know that everybody has that opinion. So I guess my question to the council people is, do you believe that they have a moral obligation at this point in time to forward it to the council for ratification, even if they don't have a legal obligation?
I, for one, do. I 100% agree with you. They do have a moral obligation to follow the will of the voters.
I think it's like, this is like a Pearl Harbor. You know, it's after our last meeting, you know, we gave them what they wanted with the Chromebooks. And now, all of a sudden, you know, to do this juncture, given precarious financial situations that we will be in, it's totally irresponsible. And
Is there any action that the town could take? Is the solicitor able to answer that?
The council cannot take an action at this time on this item. They can amend the agenda to discuss it. They can't come to a consensus. They can't vote to direct anything. Clearly, the council president in his own capacity could take an action on his own. The town administrator could take an action, you know, in regards to writing a letter. You know, I can give my opinion as to how to go forward. I can also state that I have sent them a letter, an email to Attorney Scanzio, and I can discuss that in the record if they want to.
I think we need to take an action at this time.
Well, nothing, Mr. President, nothing has really transpired yet except for an agenda item, correct?
Correct. And as I said, perhaps they don't intend on voting on ratifying, but I don't understand why they would have noted the contract ratification as the description when they haven't in the past. So as a cautionary.
Mr. President, the only thing that I don't want to jump to is that I'm wondering if they're just discussing the ratification process of whether they are going to comply or not. So I just don't. I know it's on the agenda. I think we should be concerned about it, but I don't want to jump to. I would recommend that we don't jump to a conclusion right now. Anyway, again, it's my position that they can pass it. It's not legal until it comes over here and gets ratified. So there's no problem with them passing it. It's just not effective until this council ratifies it.
I wasn't aware that other communities who had this language actually had the school committee ratify it first. I thought it was always ratified by the town council.
In essence, approving it means ratifying, so it has to come to council first. The voters have spoken strongly. Council will approve every contract in this town. That's the will of the people. So their ratification may be null and void because it does have to come before town council. Now, I'm concerned that I want to have my defense, I want to have my guard up here, and I appreciate what you're doing. But until they do it, it will end up in court because I'll make a motion to challenge their decision to even do that. I'll be one of the council members because that flies in the face of what the voters of the town of Smithfield said. I can't fathom, I can't see that happening, but if it does, then they've brought it upon themselves. We've had a member of the school committee get up and walk out of two very, very important meetings that demanded a timeline to be met and the votes could have been taken to help the students. And a particular member got up and walked out, being our last meeting, the joint meeting. So I am not happy with the behavior of a particular member on that school committee at all. So,
well, you may be correct. I'm agreeing and acknowledging that it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do that, but it certainly looks like it may be a possibility. So whatever action the administrator and the council president can take, and this body can take, to intervene before they take an action, if that is what their intent is, I think we should spend some time doing that tomorrow, because this is going to have a very adverse impact on your budget, big time. Unless they're getting a great settlement, which I, you know.
Even so.
All right, thank you.